The Rams have a key injury on defense. Who is going to step up into that role? Also, Pat McAfee has a wild theory about the Rams. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramley, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to support every single episode. Hit the like button and drop a comment down below. Podcast listeners, write us a review. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. You can, and also, I've been covering LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 sports, Bleach Report, SI, Dodgers Nation. And as always, I'm joined by the Rams pre-half and post-game show host for the Rams flagship radio station, ESPN 710 LA. He's in his 11th season covering your Los Angeles Rams, the People's Champ, Mr. Travis Rogers. You can follow him on X at Travis Rogers. And on today's episode, we've got our Week 5 grades. We've got some more takeaways, things that might need to change for this team, an injury update. So let's start right there, Travis. You got an injury update on Omar Speights, and also Colby Parkinson is in the league's concussion protocol. He's making good progress. He could be able to go for the Week 6 matchup against the Ravens. But the big injury news right now is that linebacker Omar Speights is going to be out with a high ankle sprain. So a high ankle sprain for Omar Speights. He's likely going to be out. He's listed as doubtful. You got Colby Parkinson with the concussion protocol. He's probably going to be available. You got Rob Havenstein ankle, Tyler Higbee hip. They're making good progress. So Omar Speights, that's the injury news right now. And we'll talk about who could fill in for that spot.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you're kind of getting into the meat of the season where you're going to have some guys that are going to miss some time for a variety of different things. We saw last week with Havenstein. Speights probably misses time coming up this week. And this is life in the NFL. And no disrespect to Omar Speights, but that's a spot that you could probably fill in and be okay at. That, this isn't like it's Jared Verse or Byron Young or one of these guys that, you and I have talked about this for years, Doug, on Locked On Rams, that linebacker position for the Rams is something that they don't put a ton of emphasis on. That's something that they kind of do by committee. That, Speights was an undrafted guy a couple of years ago, and he's done a really good job to work himself into the mix here. But, this is just life in this league where you're going to miss some guys along the way, and you just got to find a way, the classic next man up, and let's keep it going.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to see him. We know that Sean McVay, as you pointed out, injuries are inevitable. It's a part of the NFL, and how the Rams usually deal with that is by veteran depth and guys that they trust this organization. Some guys that you see re-signed or may stay on the roster that fans are like, what is he still doing here? Well, a lot of that has to do with they understand the system, they understand the culture. You can plug them in, you can play them right away, and Troy Reeder certainly is one of those guys you can do that with. I mean, you blink and Troy Reeder has been here for 6 seasons. And I mean, it's kind of wild. Undrafted free agent out of Delaware. 37 regular season games. He's played in 5 playoff starts. 341 tackles, 12 TFL. So this is a guy that's played a lot. He's been in there a lot. And he's going to be the guy that is going to be tasked with taking over that position. And depending on how things play out, if Lamar Jackson's back, if he's not, if you see them going to Cooper Rush, you can see them getting Mark Andrews involved, and that being the impact for this in the passing game. Another option would be Sean Dolak. He was kind of one of those guys that generated a lot of buzz during training camp during the preseason. Another undrafted free agent out of Buffalo in 2025. And I want to connect this with something you said. You said that this is a spot that you can kind of fill in. Well, look at where they got these guys, right? Undrafted free agent, late round draft pick. That kind of gives you an indication about how the Rams feel about this position.
There's going to have to be a position where you just kind of say, you know what, we'll just figure it out. We're not going to spend a ton of assets. We're not going to spend a ton of draft capital. We're not going to spend a ton of salary cap spot. We will find a guy who can go out there and do it. And I think that's probably where Troy Reeder lands. And go ahead and mark it down, October 7th on Tuesday of week 6 of the NFL season. I'm going to make another Dodger reference. You know who it is? It's the Chris Taylor, Austin Barnes of it all. It's a guy that's been around a long time, that he's going to give you a baseline performance. It's probably not going to be great, but it's probably also going to be something that you can at least count on. And I'm not saying count on a level of, hey, look, he's going to be, for a week or two, he can play like an all-pro, but he's going to go the right way. He's going to understand the assignment. He's not going to be out of the spot. He may not be as athletic as you want him to be, but he's going to understand, like you said, the system that he's being asked to play, and he will be in the right spot over and over and over again. And when you don't have a lot of great options, the best option is, hey, does he at least know what we're going to ask him to do? And Troy Reeder does. So I think that's probably why, like you said, he's been around for as long as he has. He's played in a lot of games. He's played in a lot of big games for the Rams. So him going back out there again, and I know, I hear it, I see it, and he gets beat a lot, and that's just the life of that position for that guy. But buckle up, because we're going to see him a lot on Sunday, I think.
And that's kind of the issue I have, that you bring that up. He gets beat a lot. And for me, as someone that is always searching for upgrades, looking to see if we can find that next guy, I like the mystery box. I told you that. I like the mystery box. And in this situation,
it can even be a boat.
There you go. It can even be a boat. They cut to them at the comedy club, the Krabby Comedy Club. Yeah, that's one of the best scenes of Family Guy, by the way. Yeah, I mean, the thing about this situation is, you mentioned that he gets beat, and you rewatch the 49ers game. There was a moment, he's the one who gave the TD to McCaffrey, and he's been in the league long enough to know that ball was going to go to CMC when he motioned, but he was so slow to react that he couldn't just make the play. I mean, it was an out route, and he just jumped in. He was falling to the ground with CMC walking in just gingerly into the end zone. So it kind of makes you wonder, is this just the typical Rams MO where we're not going to thrust rookies into situations, we're going to trust veterans? But it makes you wonder, I mean, does Dolak get some snaps? Does he get some opportunities if it's the same old Troy Reeder, and you kind of maybe are in a situation where maybe the Rams have a lead, or you're in a situation where he's struggling early? Do you go to him just to try to see if you got something?
I think it depends on what it looks like with Reeder. If you're getting basic competence, probably not a ton of snaps for Dolak. If he's getting killed out there and there's nothing good that's going on, and they're taking advantage of him with Andrew or whoever it may be, then yeah, at some point you got to change pitchers, right? You got to go out there and try something else. You just can't keep doing it over and over again. But if he's getting by, then I don't think you're going to see a ton of it, because there's an opportunity for them this week that I don't think anybody really thought was there, to go into Baltimore and win a game against a team that I still think they're pretty good. I don't know. I'm not ready to throw a ton of dirt on them yet, but get out of there before they get it squared away and figured out. Get out of there before Lamar Jackson is healthy and going again, and get your 4th win of the season. Give them their 5th loss and keep it moving, because I don't think they're going to be down for long.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in the next segment. Lamar Jackson, this could be the right time to face this 1-4 Ravens team. But it was Reeder that came in the Niners game. It's most likely going to be him, but that's the injury situation right now. But coming up next, we got something that's extremely encouraging about 2 Rams players you should really feel good about. And also, Pat McAfee has an interesting theory about the Rams kicker. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
This episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by Prize Picks. And every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. So don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. And playing Prize Picks is an incredibly fun, simple way to add more excitement to what is already great. We're talking about football, right? You just pick more or less on player projections. Last night, Patrick Mahomes, 250.5 yards, right? Trevor Lawrence, 219.5 yards, more or less. That's how quick it is. That's how easy it is, right? And they just added stacks on Prize Picks. So if you want to ride with a certain player, you can select their passing yards, rushing yards, touchdowns, all-in-one lineup. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
And we're off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. All right, Travis. So it's been a lot of negativity. It's been a lot of funk in Rams land these days. Of course, anytime you lose the 49ers in that fashion, vibes are going to be low. But guess what? I'm a big vibes guy. I'm going to pick up these vibes, okay? Couple of things I wanted to run by you. I don't know if you watched the Sean McVay show with our guy JB Long, does a fantastic job. And they had a segment where they were talking to him about this recent trend of course, we saw AD Mitchell and just dropping the ball and guys like that just not going through the goal line. We saw it in one of the worst plays ever in the Cardinals game. It was just completely embarrassing. Well, the Rams actually have a motto for that. And it is letters and logos, man. We always finish through the letters and logos. It goes back to Zach Taylor. He always used to say that. Shows good example of a learning option. You hopefully are never one of those teams that you're teaching off of. So isn't this like the most Rams thing ever, that they have like something in place to avoid an embarrassing moment like that? Like there's zero chance. Like why do I know without knowing there's zero chance that Puka Nacua would ever do this, right? I mean, zero chance that Devonta Adams would do this. I think Tutu was almost too fast. He's already in the back of the end zone before he even has a thought of dropping the ball at the goal line. Yeah. So you love to hear stuff like this.
That they have a motto for it, a little slogan for it, does not surprise me. The Rams are very pro slogan, and that they have one for that is the most on brand thing that I can think of for them. Can we stop for a second though? Can we stop pretending that this is an opportunity to coach someone up, that the player made a mistake? It is idiotic. It is completely unacceptable and idiotic that someone would do something like this. This is not one of those, it could happen to anybody. No, it couldn't. This is not something that, it's a 1 in a million. It happens all the time. It feels like we're seeing one of these, every other week in the NFL or college football. And here's the part, Doug, that I just simply don't understand. What is the win in this situation? What is the win where DeMercado runs 76 yards, breaks the game open for the Arizona Cardinals, and let's say he drops the ball exactly on the goal line and it counts as a touchdown. Does any person in the history of football fan watching go, you know what the best part about that is right where he dropped it on the goal line? No one cares. Who cares if you drop it on the goal line, over the goal line, at the back wall, run it into the fifth row with the hot dog guy? Just go across the blank goal line and score the touchdown. It's the dumbest thing. It's not a coaching opportunity. It means you have a stupid player on your team. It means that the player is a moron that doesn't understand that you need to go across the line and actually count the points before you can do whatever celebration it is that you're doing. It's unacceptable. And I would be stunned if a player on the Rams did something like this, because I think Sean McVay is a very smart coach. I think he's probably gone over it with these guys. I think he's probably told them in no uncertain terms that this is not something that we're going to do here, and it'll never happen. And if it does, I would be flabbergasted. It's just this idea that, Gannon overreacted. No, he didn't. The guy left. He cost them a game by being a knucklehead. I'll never understand it.
Look, here's my thing, Travis. This should have happened in the history of the NFL. Wait for it. One time. All it should have taken was one time. Like, I'm not sure if Deshaun Jackson's against the Cowboys was the first time, really.
But he did it at Cal.
But he did it at Cal. Exactly. He did it at Cal. Yeah. And he that's what he gets for wanting to be different. Go to Cal. Like, go to USC, bro. Like, come on, like, or UCLA, whatever. But I mean, here's the thing. I mean, it happens one time, and then I think that if you're a ball carrier, if you're a receiver, for the end of time, you're mortified. You're absolutely mortified by this. It would keep you up at night. It would wake you up at night. It would give you nightmares. But you know what? To me, this is the equivalent of. This is the basketball equivalent of, like, if Steph Curry takes a 40-foot three and he turns around before it goes in. Here's the difference, though. His shot goes in, right? And it doesn't like it or like Nick Young. But the truth is, most of these players think they're Steph Curry, but the reality is most of them are Nick Youngs. And I'm talking about Nick Young against the Knicks. He shoots that shot and he turns around and the ball rims out. You see Jeremy Lin in the background. It's like that famous gif, right? This is the football equivalent to that. And yeah, I mean, hey, guess what, though? I mean, I was happy to see the Seahawks lose. I was happy to see the Cardinals lose. As far as Gannon, he went full-blown Clemson, Ohio State, Woody Hayes, and abused and hit one of his players. That was ridiculous. But yeah, I'm with you. It is really interesting to see. Okay,
For what? Like,
is it swaggy? Is it even swaggy?
It's not. That's the thing. It doesn't look cool. And I'm not. This is not like an old man take. This is one of these things. Like, I'm okay with a dance. I'm okay with a choreographed routine with your teammates. I like Duck Duck Goose. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown doing a pencil standing up on his head. I like that stuff. Score the blank and touchdown first, and then do your fun. Score the points. I will never ever get it, Dougie. I will never get it.
Yeah, yeah. The funny thing is, I remember seeing something that a Deshaun Jackson one where apparently he did the NFL, apparently did it in college, apparently did it in high school too. Apparently he probably did it in Pop Warner. Didn't Leon Lett do it too in a way? But no, he got knocked out.
Well,
right?
He got it stripped out. Look, you're running and somebody comes and punches it out. That's a football play. This is just dumb. It's just
this
dumb.
is hilarious. All right, so we're gonna keep picking the vibes up, right? Okay, this next vibe picker upper is there's a lot of hype around Jared Verse, and early on, some people said, "Oh, the sacks aren't there. Is he still having a really good season?" Jared Verse is still the guy that we thought he was. And here's a very impressive stat. He had 5 pressures in week 5 against the 49ers, and that ties Nick Bosa as the second fastest player to reach 100 pressures. That's 22 games. Only Joey Bosa reached that many pressures in a fewer amount of games. It was just 21 games. So basically, when you look at the NFL in the big Q4 of 2025, where we're at, it's all about the pressures. It's more about the pressure, less about the sacks, right? The pressures that will lead to double teams, that will lead to triple and quad teams, and just the emphasis on the offense having to focus on you. So Jared Verse is still a game wrecker. He's still a disruptor, and the Rams, they got someone who has all-pro and defensive player of the year potential. So the reason I point that out is all the things we thought he was capable of before the season, after winning defensive rookie of the year and all that hype, he still is the guy that we think he is.
I would encourage Rams fans to look. I watch football like a fan most of the time, right? And by that I mean I'm following the ball. Where the quarterback's got it, okay, the running back's got it, all right, the tight end's got it, I'm following the ball. I would encourage Rams fans to take a series when the Rams are on defense and not follow the ball and just watch Jared Verse. Because he puts on a clinic, and you can see how much attention he draws. You can see how frequently he's doubled. You can see how often they move somebody to his side to try to deal with him. He changes everything. And even with all of that, he's still dominating snaps. He's still in the backfield way, way, way more than anybody who's being doubled that often should be. He is an absolute game wrecker. And just because he's not going to get to 20 sacks or whatever the number is, doesn't mean that he's not doing exactly what you said, Doug, which is becoming one of the best players in the league. The sacks will come. That's going to happen. He'll refine technique. He'll refine, different moves and things like that. But he is still dominating games, even if he's not racking up huge sack numbers.
No doubt about it. I mean, I could not agree more. It's definitely something that I think our fans would enjoy doing. It just give the Jared Verse cam and watch how many times he collapses that pocket. Yep. Watch how many times he forces a quick throw. I mean, he's explosive. And when you hear people talk about Jared Verse, it's the motor. They mentioned the motor for Jared Verse and how he just continues to pursue the quarterback. So, yeah, get the sacks thing out of your mind and just know that that Jared Verse is the guy. Okay, another vibe picker-upper is Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua. They've been the best duo in the NFL through 5 games. Through 5 games, each rank at the top of the NFL in their respective yardage category. Stafford has the most passing yards in the NFL at 1,503. That's 147 more yards. The next closest guy. And who's the dude? What's the guy named for Detroit? Jared Goff. Goff.
Yeah.
There you go. And then Puka Nacua, 588 receiving yards. That's 54 yards up on JSN, Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. So I think it was you that you pointed out to me. I mean, anytime, it's so funny. All these Megatron, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. What is the common thread here? It is Matthew Stafford. And Matthew Stafford, when he's healthy, when he's right, he can not only make you a great receiver, he can make you have a historic season. And that's what we're seeing once again with Puka Nacua.
He can put you in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's that good. And look, Calvin Johnson's probably going to the Hall of Fame no matter what. Cooper Kupp might end up there someday as well. Who knows? And Puka Nacua is certainly off to a great start. So he's unbelievable. Look, it's as simple as this. The Rams, and I like this segment, Dougie, about picking up the vibes. I think it's a good idea because the Rams basically are one issue away from being 5-0 and being the team that not only could be the only unbeaten team in the league, but being the team that everybody goes, you know what, they're a lot better than everybody else. If they make their kicks, they're 5-0. It's as simple as that. If they make their kicks, they are 5-0. They make the kick and one of the two kicks in Philadelphia, they're 5-0. They make one extra point in San Francisco, they're 5-0. They make one field goal against San Francisco, they're 5-0. So this isn't that a million things are wrong. All the things, Puka's at the top, Stafford's at the top. I think Kyron Williams is number 6 in rushing. I think Devontae Adams is 13 in receiving. Like, they are putting up numbers. They just need to make their kicks. And I believe that they will figure that part out come hell or high water, because there's no explanation that you should be leading the league and everything else, and you're winning only half your games because your special teams unit isn't functioning properly.
Absolutely. What a pro there. What a pro, because we're going to segment 2. The next segment is going to be about special teams. What a pro. But I want to put you on the spot real quick, though. So there's been 4 cases in NFL history where you've had the quarterback and the receiver lead in passing yards and receiving yards. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase in 2024. Somehow Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill in 2023. Tua, come on. Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown in 2014. And then Matt Schaub and Andre Johnson in 2009. So not even Stafford and Calvin Johnson, not even Tom Brady and Randy Moss, not even Isaac Bruce and Kurt Warner were able to accomplish that feat. Do Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford finish with the most receiving yards and passing yards in the league?
No, because I think you're going to start to feed Devontae more and more. And I think those Devontae yards, I think they'll both finish in the top 10. I think that, you might have one finish in the top 5 and the other finish in the top 10. But I don't think when you got 2 dynamic receivers like that you can get one all the way to the top without sacrificing a little bit of the other. And I think they're going to want a more balanced attack. So I don't think they get there, but I don't think he'll be far off either.
So you don't. So they say it's really good for TV, for shows to passionately disagree. So I'm going to say that they will. All right. Coming up next, we're talking about a theory that Pat McAfee has on why Joshua Karty has struggled to, as Travis pointed out, make those kicks that would have led to a 5-0 Rams team in the 2025 season. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
Oh, I forgot that. I was totally unprepared.
Do we have one?
Yeah, I have it. I just wasn't paying attention.
I'll talk it.
Yeah, here we go. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick awards than anyone else, that of August of this year. And from footwork to breathwork, you know that athletes, they're sweating all the details. Mazda, they bring the same intention to how they craft every single model. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but smooth handling, intuitive controls. And with all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season at all. So, like our players, Mazda is going to sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved.
And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Okay, so Travis, you were mentioning special teams and Joshua Karty, and we know that that's been an issue. I mean, Joshua Karty's 9 for 12 on field goal attempts, but he has had an NFL high 2 field goals blocked. He's also had 2 extra point attempts blocked, including one that would have given the Rams a lead against the 49ers on Thursday. So even though it's an extra point, it was extremely glaring miss. And Pat McAfee was one of the best punters in the NFL in his time. He has a theory as to why some of these kicks have been getting blocked. And McAfee said, Karty hitting those fat balls, those knuckle balls on kickoffs has been very good for the Rams. It's got a lot of attention. It's got a lot of positive hype for this new kickoff. I don't like kickers kicking fat balls all the time. He's seemingly hitting fat balls, and fat balls go left. And take a shot every time I say fat balls here. I think him hitting a fat ball every single time he hits a kickoff isn't necessarily, for me, the greatest thing mentally. And then Sean McVay, you would think maybe he shoots it down. Maybe he's like, okay, this is Pat McAfee, crazy guy. He said, I think that's fair. He's certainly an expert in that arena, given his background. That's something we've all talked about, and I don't think that's a misguided thing. So it seems like Sean McVay agrees to a degree. What say you? I think it's something real.
I heard the same thing, not from Pat McAfee, not from Sean McVay, from other people that I talk to that hear things, that the way that he is kicking off that little knuckleball thing that they're hitting, which, by the way, has been really effective, right? They've done a good job of pinning guys deep with their starting position. I think it's the league best that, they're making teams drive the longer field than anyone else, but that has affected the way that he's striking the ball when it goes to kicking PATs and field goals. And, okay, so if McAfee says it, he's a former kicker / punter, I'll listen. If McVay didn't dismiss it out of hand, I'll listen. And if the question is, look, do we got to go back to kicking the ball out of the back of the end zone and give the ball at the 35 instead of guys starting at the 20 or so? Do we give up 15 yards per kick knowing that our kicker is going to start making kicks again? I think you do. Now, he better not miss another kick. If you're going to put guys at the 35-yard line repeatedly, then you got to make just about all of your kicks. And I keep coming back to this. Maybe 1 or 2 of these 4 blocks have been that the ball didn't get up in the air quickly enough. But at least 2 of those 4 blocks, if not 3 of these, were blocked because they couldn't. There was just penetration on the line. This wasn't that somebody got a fingertip on the ball as it was going over the line. They're basically ripping it out of the holder's hands. It's just thump thump. It's just that quick. But I'd be willing to try anything. Look, they have 2 losses because they can't kick. It's as simple as that. They have 2 losses because they can't kick. So whatever it takes to try to fix that, I'd be willing to try.
Yeah, as you point out, I mean, it's like most things, it's multiple things, right? I mean, it's snap, it's hold, it's kick. You have 1.25 seconds to block dudes and create a good situation for Joshua Karty. But the results are the results. And if you're going to see this continue, let's not forget, this is a Rams team that used draft capital on Joshua Karty. When you use draft capital on a kicker, you expect them to stay on the roster, to be that guy for you. So it's not like a Rams team that's going to be quick to cut him and just do that carousel of kickers, right? They're not going to go that route if they think that this is a reason why the kicking hasn't been where they expected it to be. So I'm curious to see how they play off the kicks against the Ravens and kind of what they view as the net benefits of that, right? Because they are, as you point out, you make them go longer, you're getting, anywhere 20 to 30 yards, 15 yards. I mean, that adds up throughout the course of a game, but it's not worth 3 points. And 3 points in the NFL are worth a lot. So let's keep the main thing. The main thing, I think, for Joshua Karty would be my thing.
I agree with you. And the reason I'm not 100% convinced it's Karty is that he's still here. Right? If it were just, hey, he's not getting the ball in the air, he'd be, working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. He would not be here. They would go out and find another kicker. It's the NFL, right? That and especially at that position, people are ruthless. Once they figure out you can't make kicks, they move on to go get the next guy. I mean, we've seen the kicker carousel take place here with the Rams before. It wasn't that long ago that the reason they did spend a draft pick on Karty is because they couldn't get the kicking thing figured out. So when you look around the league and there are some guys out there that are available, that they're sticking with Karty leads me to believe it's not Karty, that it's the operation itself that is breaking down. But At some point, you got to do something different. I don't know if it's the special teams coach that is the guy that pays the price. I don't know if it's some of the guys up front that are trying to protect. But if it were Karty, I think Karty would have been down the road already. That's why I don't think it's him.
So what you're trying to say is that the Rams should hire Pat McAfee to be their special teams coach and fire Chase Blackburn. Is that what you're saying?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. All right, I like it.
As long as McAfee still gets to do game day, though. I'd like McAfee on game day.
No, I think he's a good addition for sure.
Yeah.
But that's it over this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And follow the People's Champ, Mr. Travis Rogers. Tune into his show, DeMarco and Travis Rogers show on ESPN LA in the afternoons. Talk a lot of Rams football. I'm sure you're talking a lot of Dodgers today too. So awesome stuff. I'm sure we're talking about the epic decision. The decision part 2 from LeBron James. Did you see that?
I saw the tease. Did he finally announce?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It was a Hennessy ad.
Of course it was.
Of course it was. Get your paper. It's like, hey, who needs it? Get another billion. What's 1 billion, right? That's going to do it, guys. See you next time. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.